Are tonight hearing from the family of the person gunned down this past Friday outside of Bank of America in Northeast Charlotte. Ina Lang is her name, and family is also reflecting on losing her.
The suspect in the case is 22-year-old Samon Smith, appeared in court today on those murder charges.
What I always say when we get these mud shots, man, it's like the same stereotype, man. It just never fails.
Bria Smith is live for us outside of CMPD headquarters with more details on this specific case. Bria, what did the family tell you today?
Well, Colin, I had the chance to speak with Lang's stepdaughter, who shared just how beautiful Ina was and how hard this is for her and her family.
She was just a very graceful woman. Like, if you ever see like movies on like, women that get up every day, cook and clean, that was Ina. Ina was just such a sweet lady. Like, I mean, genuinely an angel on earth. And I've always told my dad that. I've told my dad that since the day I met Ina.
Friday afternoon, Eliana Lang, Ina's stepdaughter, got a call she says she would have never expected.
My stepsister called me and she said, "Has Mike called you?" My dad's name was Michael. We call him Mike. And she said, "Has Mike called you?" And I said, "No, why?" She said, my mom was shot and killed outside her job today. And my first reaction was, "You're joking, right?"
A reality that all unfolded outside of Ina's job at a Bank of America located off of Calibridge Court.
I couldn't get another word out. I just started, sobbing, like the deepest sob.
Investigators say 22-year-old Samon Smith was seen on surveillance video getting out of a yellow Dodge Charger, wearing a black hoodie with red writing and a black mask covering his face when he approached Lang from behind, firing multiple shots. He was then seen running from the scene.
What a dummy. You're in a yellow Charger. You're on camera. And then you're coward because you shot her in the back, man. It's like don't know what the whole motive was behind this, man. Maybe they'll get to a motive, maybe they'll release it, maybe they won't. May have to do some digging or wait till a trial happens. But yeah, this person should never see the light of day again because this is egregious. It took a mother from their family. And and again, there's no telling what it was over, but I don't think whatever it was over was worth her life. And I mean, you hop out of one of the most visible cars that's out there. Like everyone knows what a Challenger looks like or a Charger, and everyone knows the color yellow. Maybe you did it because you wanted to get caught. Who knows, man? But you're in your 20s, man. You do something like this, man. You just didn't care about living your life at all.
And a black mask covering his face when he approached Lang from behind, firing multiple video, getting out of a yellow Dodge Charger, wearing a black hoodie with red writing, and a black mask covering his face when he approached Lang from behind, firing multiple shots. He was then seen running from the scene.
This does seem to be senseless. The police haven't told my dad anything as far as motive. And like my father has said, there's no way Ina gave him a motive.
Bank of America released a statement saying, quote, "We are deeply saddened by the loss of one of our Bank of America teammates. Our thoughts and condolences are with her family and friends."
Nothing was stolen besides her life. That was it.
And that's more precious. Your life is way more precious than any material thing, and time is precious as well. So, it's definitely sad, man. My prayers and condolences out to Ina's family, and definitely some senseless violence. This is one of the things I talked about in previous videos to where like for black people, man, we don't know which way that we're going, or we don't know which way we're coming. We just don't know, because for every person that's doing well, you're gonna have 100 people that's not doing well and doing stuff like this. For every person, you have 100 more, 1,000 more that are just not going to be doing well. And if we're only maybe 13 or less percent of the total population, it's just like, how does it always end up being us majority of the time in these mud shots on these news clippings? It's just like, yo, will it ever come a day to where we realize, man, when we do stuff like this, we're just gonna end up on the news? Like, you know, and I don't think, honestly, man, I'm just starting to think most people just don't want to do better in life at all. I just feel like they just want to go do something, get themselves into a position where they're getting told to wake up, told to go to sleep, have to live amongst the same gender, and be fed, pretty much the worst foods you could possibly be fed, and have to go and get someone to put money on your books and order from the canteen store, and or have to go and work for pennies, because you don't want to do anything as far as like when you're normally living life, you don't want to work. So for at least a decent wage, you want to go and have to work for a couple cent every day, every hour, however is put together. You don't want to do anything that's going to be productive for yourself, productive for your family, and also be productive for your community. You don't want to build communities, you want to tear them down. You want to assist with bringing drugs and all types of other things into the community. You're not looking to have, beautiful communities, and, you know, and I'm speaking from seeing this with my own two eyes. I've seen communities go from looking decent to run down over the course of 10, 20 years. You know, um, People go from being here to not being here. People go from, you know, being kids is playing school ball to hardcore drug dealers, or everything else, and end themselves up locked up and behind bars, or dead. So I want a lot of people, man, to really realize, man, we are our own demise, and it happens every day, all day. We are our own demise. It's no sitting there pointing at no other group of people saying, man, you did this or you disenfranchised me, you did that to me, and this and the third. Like, it's none of that. It's us. It's our own people. It's our own decisions that we're making. And once you realize that, if you can't get yourself into a good position, maybe you can influence someone who looks up to you, or someone that you have fathered, or someone that's close with you. Maybe you can get them to see that and say, hey, don't make this type of the same mistake, you know. And it's crazy because every generation, like with my generation, people older than me, and I was seeing a lot of people who were either dealing or using, stealing, doing all type of stuff like that. And it's just like, if you're not sitting here telling me, man, don't go down this route, don't do this, don't do that, because it's gonna end up putting you right in the same position where you don't have nothing. If you was trying to tell me something else, I wasn't listening to you. And then it's like you get a perspective of people from how you see them living their lives. So if you see someone living their lives a certain type of way, and it's not a way that you want to live your life, you're least likely to listen to them at all, period. Now, if they're telling you to not do something that they've doing, they're speaking from experience. I've listened to those type of things. I look and say, man, I definitely don't want to end up like that. But we have to walk the walk as well as talk the talk. And if you don't know that, if you're out here doing stuff like murder, or trying to sell drugs and stuff like that, you're at the bottom of the totem pole. You're at the bottom of the freaking totem pole. You'll never be the boss. You'll never be the top dog. It's always gonna be somebody that's over you. Always gonna be somebody that you have to answer to, and things like that. because you're not the one that's growing it or going to get it and stuff like that. You have to mess with a plug or whatever, and it's just like you kind of putting yourself at risk, you putting your family at risk, and at the end of the day, man, you're just a pawn in the whole game. You're not a knight or anything like that. You're just a pawn. Not a bishop, none of that. You're a pawn. You're just being used. And that's just how it is. And I want anyone um to, if you feel different in the comments, just let it be known, like, hey, now I don't feel like, if we out here dealing and this and the third, if we're pawns, I feel like we're this and the third, and I'm gonna say, okay, what position are you in the whole ordeal? Because if you go and start looking at the hierarchy of things, you're at the very bottom. Now, you may run your little crew and all this and that, or whoever you got underneath you, but somebody else is your big dog. I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out. If you like my content, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Again, my condolences to, Ina and her family, and hopefully justice is served. And even though it doesn't bring your loved one back, man, and I know that's definitely, a hurtful thing. Hopefully this guy never gets to see the day of light again. And I'm gonna close out. This is Justin Paul. Peace.